All right, welcome to Life Extension Live. I'm Dr. Mike, and I'm here with my co host, Dr. Crystal Gossert. And today we're going to be celebrating the American Heart Month, which is February. And we're
That's
going to be
right.
celebrating it by talking about olive oil. This whole show is about olive oil. And we're going to talk about why you should use it. We're going to talk about common myths and shopping tips for olive oil. And you'd be surprised, there's a lot of tips actually when you're looking for good olive oil. So let's start off right with number one, Dr. Crystal. Why should I be using olive oil?
Fat makes food taste amazing.
Yes. Don't
It's
be
just a
scared of
fact.
fat.
No fat is just boring. It just your food is not flavorful, but you want to make sure the fats that you use are good fats, right?
Yes,
Not all
very good.
fats are created equal. And so olive oil is a fat that you can cook with, that you can use. You can drizzle it on almost
Mm,
anything.
yeah,
You can
it's
even drink
good.
it. I think we'll
Yes,
talk about that. But it's just one of those fats. It's a good fat, and it makes your food taste great. So
yeah.
if
Now,
you're
let
go
me
ahead.
ask you though. So you have the type of fat in there are what are called unsaturated fats, right?
Right, monounsaturated fat, the most prominent one that most people think is do causes the health benefits is oleic acid.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's a type of monounsaturated fat. And at one point, we thought that's what made olive
All the
oil
benefits, right? Yeah.
healthy.
Yeah. Yeah. But we've learned it's actually a rich source of polyphenols, which we've talked about a lot on this show and in our podcast Live Forever. So really it's a combo, right? It's the combo of the fat. It's a good fat. Fat makes food taste good. This is a good fat to use because it's
Hmm.
healthier, right?
Right.
Yet you're also, when you use olive oil, you're being provided with just a bunch of plant-based antioxidant polyphenols, which are so important to health. When you put all that together, what are like maybe your top three things you like to talk about when it comes to benefits of olive oil?
Right. Well, the one thing is it makes your food healthier. And not in the sense that, I'm adding the olive oil, and yes, the olive oil is going to provide antioxidants, but in research, you actually see that it's providing oxidants, and it actually helps to increase the amount of oxidants in the vegetables that you
It's
eat.
amazing. That's amazing, right? So it's helping your food make more antioxidants. So you're getting antioxidants from it, and your food likes that, and your food says, "I'm going to make more antioxidants now. I'm going to get into the party."
Yeah, and it's actually the third thing is preserving the antioxidants in the vegetable. I mean,
Yeah,
it's just a win-win.
win-win all the way. So it's really boosting antioxidants in food, not just by adding, but helping the food to produce more and protect.
Yes.
So that's really cool. Second, best benefit or top benefit, whatever you want to say.
This is what you hear most often related to heart health is its ability to support HDL. We know
Right.
HDL, that's the good cholesterol, that's the cleanup truck that's out picking up cholesterol and bringing it back to be recycled. So you want to maintain healthy levels of HDL. So olive oil can help with that. But olive oil also in research has been shown to make those HDL particles larger,
Yeah.
right? And
So they
so
can
it
clean up more, basically, right? Is that kind of a way of thinking of it? Yeah.
it can clean up more, and it just makes that HDL just function better. So it's doing its job a whole lot better, with the help
Right.
of olive oil.
And then your other one you like to talk about is the link to what's called all cause mortality. Tell us about that.
Yes, well, in research, and I actually pulled up a study in the journal Lipids, Health and Disease. Research shows that people who consume the most olive oil have a lower risk of dying from cardiovascular events, stroke, or from any cause at
Anything,
all.
anything. That's the all cause, right?
Right.
All cause, and that's hard for people, I think, to like understand. But that's huge, right? What we're saying is, when you look at people who consume the most olive oil, are less likely to die across the board. It doesn't
Across
really
the board.
matter what it is. So that's pretty impressive. So a lot of good reasons to be using olive oil to cook with in your food. But now we want to move into some of the myths. And I found this section to be pretty easy. And I just said that you can cook with olive oil. There's a lot of people, Dr. Crystal, who think you can't cook with it, right? Because it can't get too hot or something.
Right. And that is probably the most common myth with olive oil, is that you can't use it for high heat cooking preparations. But really, the problem with that is that most of the olive oil historically has not been real olive
I know
oil.
that's that we're going to get into that too, right? I know that's
Right.
crazy to think about, but a lot of the olive oil you see on your shelf at your grocery store is mixed in with other oils and stuff, right?
Right. So olive oil, pure extra virgin olive oil, which is going to be high in polyphenols, has a high smoke point. That's what we call it,
Yeah.
meaning that you can cook with that oil upwards to, 400
400. Yeah.
degrees. Yeah.
It's one of my favorite. I've learned, if I don't eat a lot of steak anymore, but if I do, I like my steak to have a good sear on it, right? That
Hmm.
good, and I know that's not good either. Don't get into all that, but that sear is really nice. And I've learned olive oil is the best way to make a really good flavorful sear
Hmm.
on meats. So I use it in a hot cast iron grill all the time. I love it.
Yes. And with fish. I mean, we like that. My husband's the cast iron king, and that's his thing. He gets that olive oil in there, heats it, and that pan needs to be hot and you sear it.
Smoking
Oh,
hot
it's
is what
so
we
good.
call it. Yeah, smoking hot. That's great. So you can cook with it, but you don't have to. You can use it in dips. You can use it in dressings, and it's so versatile. Now, when I look at the shelf too, I'm going to go into myth number 2 now. When I look at the shelf, I see options. It's you see some that are called light, and you see some that don't say extra virgin. I'm more curious about what does that mean on the light side of it? Light olive oil.
It
What
means
does that mean? Is that mean it's not good?
it's light on the polyphenols, is what it means. The beneficial components of the olive oil, what you really want while you're using the olive oil in the
They're
first
down.
place,
Yeah.
right? So but we do know those polyphenols, they can taste really pungent, and you can taste those. It's kind of what makes that olive oil have a bite. And
Yeah.
some people don't like that flavor. And then the other thing, people sometimes think that light means that it's healthier, that
That's what
maybe
I was going to say. Yeah, they're looking at, oh, that must be a lighter version, a little less calories, but still really good for me. And that's the myth. Light olive oil, fine, whatever, but it's not the extra virgin, robust olive oil that we're really talking about, right?
it's not. It's still 100% oil. Same amount of calories, just with inferior oils. Refined, that olive oil has been
Refined.
refined. Maybe chemicals have been added to kind of remove some of those flavors, and that's just not what you want.
It's
So
not. It's just. Isn't there? We've talked about this before, Doctor Crystal. Just getting back to real food. Take your olive oil, press it one time, and there's your oil. And that's what you use, right? That's kind of the first press idea. When you start playing around with things, I'm just kind of over that whole processing
right,
thing
I
with
agree.
foods and stuff. Now, because it's healthy, here we're going to go into myth number 3. Because it's healthy, I can use as much as I want, and I can cook with it and drink it. I can do whatever I want at all times with it.
Yes, I always think wild abandonment. No, it is still a source of calories. It is still fat,
Yeah,
right? So I think I have it here, 1 tablespoon will equate to 119 calories. So the calories will add up. And so I would say you still want to make sure there is some level of moderation
yeah.
as you drizzle.
Yeah, just be careful. Don't overdo it. I mean, that's we always go back to that. We always will go back to moderation. It's not
Hmm.
a cliche. It's true. Um, good things can be overdone at the end of the day.
Always.
And oils are definitely one of them. Olive oil being one that you still got to watch how much that you use. Although you could use it every day, just
Oh, yes.
do it in moderation. So I want to move now on to our shopping tips because
Hmm.
there's a lot of olive oils on that shelf. Matter of fact, I can picture it right now. My favorite grocery store in South Florida, right? I can picture their oils. And over here are the vegetable oils. Over here are ones I've never heard of. But there's this huge display of olive oils of all types, all kinds, big bottles, small bottles, light bottles, dark bottles. It's crazy.
And the price range can be from,
It's from
$6,
$4
$7 to $30. You're
Oh,
thinking,
like how do I what is all this? So we need some shopping tips. So let's get started with that. And I want to talk about that word extra virgin because that's important to see on the label, right?
extra virgin olive oil. That's number one. So when you're shopping, if it does not say extra virgin olive oil, it
Yeah.
shouldn't be an option. So that will rule out several
A
of the
lot of
olive
those, a
oil.
lot of those are the light ones, or all they say is they don't say anything. They just say olive oil or something, right? So you can just
Hmm.
get rid of all that.
Get rid
And
of
now
all that.
focus
That's
it
number one.
and extra virgin. Now, for the most part, this is where it's first press, right? They put those olives in. It's nothing fancy, right? They just press it, and the juice comes out.
Right.
That's
They
it.
kind of crush it and macerate it and then press it down to get all of the oils out of it. That first press, that's what
Yeah.
we call it. That's something else that you want to look for. So yes, the color should be just this
It's like greenish, right?
luminescent green. It should
Yeah.
be like really green. If it's kind of clear, like
Probably
yellowish,
there's probably not all olive oil, right? There's probably some other vegetable oil mixed in with that.
exactly.
Yeah, I
Right.
saw on one of my, me in my food channel shows. I saw one of the shows they went to an olive grove, and this family made their own olive oil, and they showed what first press is, and what came out of that faucet was as green as you can imagine. And I'm
Right.
like, that's how it's supposed to look? Most people
Yes,
would not
because
realize.
you still have some of the like the olive particles in there, if it's unrefined, unfiltered, you want all of that goodness. There should be a little bit of settlement at the bottom of
Yeah.
your bottle.
Yeah. Now, what's going on with contaminating olive oil with other oils? That happens a lot. Is there a way for me to know, even if it says extra virgin, I still have to be careful, right? Because they could still mix that a little bit. How do I know they're not doing that?
Well, there has been more regulation. I mean, historically, we have it was uncovered like maybe back in 2013, 14, 70 to 80% of the olive oil
It's
was
amazing.
being diluted, or maybe they were using inferior oils like corn oil, adding beta carotene to it for a
Oh
little
no.
color, adding chlorophyll to it.
And calling it
um,
olive oil, that's just wrong on every level.
Oh, it's fraud. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the whole that the fraud was uncovered. So you do find different organizations that have taken the time to test out many of the olive oil. So there was a huge investigation.
Yeah.
Now there are different regulatory bodies that are trying to make sure that this food fraud does not exist, because you pay a lot of money for the
You
olive
do.
oil.
You do. Yeah. And
And
you're paying for the you like olive oil, but you're also paying for a lot of the health benefits. And if it's corn oil masquerading as olive oil, no, that's you're wasting your time and your money and you're not getting the health
exactly.
benefits, right?
Exactly. So, these are some of the things that you can sort of look for, but other things to look for is, how does it taste?
I think that's a big one, right? Now, but now here's a problem with how does it taste. you can't just go into your grocery store and start opening bottles. But most grocery stores, if you take it home before you start using it, taste it. And let's
Yeah.
go through what it should taste like. If it doesn't taste right, put the cap back on and take it back to your store. Most stores will honor a refund.
Yes. So whenever you taste it, there should be a bite. It should be kind of peppery. If you sip
Yeah.
it slow, you should feel a little bit of a burn kind of in
Yeah.
the back of your tongue, on the
Yeah.
back of your
That's the
tongue.
polyphenols probably, right? A little bit of those antioxidants. Yeah.
Those are the polyphenols. So most times you can tell, okay, this is I've gotten ripped off
I got
here.
ripped off.
So
It's not very green or green at all, and there's no peppery taste, and there's no burning whatever. So this is just some other oil masquerading as olive oil. Take that back immediately and let them know
right.
you want your money back, or go find a better one. So tasting really is kind of, at the end of the day, it's the best way to really figure it out, right?
Yes, I agree. Now, you also, there are things that you can look for on the label. Look for where it's made. A couple of towns, cities in Italy that are known for making olive oil, and I have those names here. Yes, Sicily, for example. You can look for that. California makes really good olive oil.
Yes,
Freshness matters.
I
So,
know, I've heard that too. And I usually look for the California brands because they're not quite as expensive as the Italian ones, right? So
that's
you go
right.
to a California brand, maybe it's a few dollars less than something from Sicily, but it's still first press, pure olive oil. It's good to go. Yeah.
Yes, and the other thing is to look for like it try to look to see if there is one location. Like look for the name estate. So like a California estate, that means that this is the only location that is producing that olive oil that's in the bottle.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll see different locations. That means that the
Excellent.
olive oil is coming from different places and going to one particular location and kind of being mixed together
Yeah.
and
And
providing.
I guess at the end of the day, you might use the oil coming from some vineyard. They might be honest about it, but it's coming to this manufacturer who knows what they're doing with all those little bottles to
Exactly.
to fulfill all those orders, right? They don't, who knows what they may be mixing around.
Right. So if you can take out all of the other people, take out the middleman, purchase directly from the estate,
Yeah.
that's another way to kind of guarantee there's less fraud taking
Fraud,
place.
processing.
That
Yeah.
you're
All that.
getting what you're paying for. Another thing is to look at the harvest date. It should be within 1.5 years. So
Now
now
that now let's clear. Harvest date may not be the same date you see on like the bottle for freshness or for when it expires, right? There could be a difference there, or is it the same date?
so no, so you have your harvest date, and sometimes you'll see a harvest date and you'll see a best by date. So you
Okay,
want to look at the harvest date in
and
particular.
that would be one. You said 1.5 years. You don't want to go
One and a
anything
half
beyond that.
years.
Yeah. Okay. Very good.
Another thing, the bottle should be dark, because UV light can start causing
Yeah.
that olive oil, those polyphenols to break down. Yes, it can cause those oils to become rancid. So the
I
bottle
don't want to
should be
show the
dark.
brand. I don't know if I'm supposed
Yeah,
to show the brand or not, but that's a dark bottle.
right. So these are all the things, if your olive oil is not coming packaged in the dark bottle.
Yeah. Well, I will tell. I mean, I'm not going to tell you the brand name, but this is from California. It's first pressed, dark bottle, and if you were to taste it, it's peppery and it gives you a little tingle in the back of your throat. This is a good California extra virgin olive oil. Yeah,
All right, Dr.
right
Mike.
there. Let me ask you this. So, when it comes to storing olive oil, there's a lot of some people say you have to refrigerate it. Some people say you don't. I was watching one of my favorite chefs I like to watch, and he said if you don't use it a lot, if it's going to sit on your counter for more than say 3 or 4 weeks, you probably want to refrigerate it. But if you use it a lot within a couple of weeks, you probably don't have to. What do you think? Does that sound?
Well, I'm encouraging everyone, if you're listening, hopefully by now you've been convinced that you need to use it.
Use it. So use it. You don't have to worry about refrigerating it. Yeah.
Right. With breakfast,
Yeah.
when you're making your morning eggs, olive oil,
Yeah.
lunch, olive oil,
dinner, olive oil, dessert.
oil.
There's olive oil ice cream.
Yes, I mean, I don't even think, I'm trying to think, oh, we do have other oil for our cast iron pan to keep it seasoned,
Yeah.
but we
I
don't.
use olive oil for mine, for seasoning mine.
Oh, you do?
If you have a cast iron, you don't want to use soaps and stuff, just water. You get like a little brush to get off the gunk. And then I do a little layer of olive oil and I put it in the oven at about 200 degrees for about an hour. And that reseasons it great. Yeah.
Oh, Dr. Mike, you're teaching me something. It's just in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, I can't use my good olive oil.
No, I do. I use it for all that kind of stuff. Why not? That's all I have. I do have some vegetable oil for some weird stuff I might do. But if you came into my house, the predominant oil you will always see is olive oil, period.
Right. Yes. Yeah. But yeah, I think from what I've read, a cool, dark place. So a pantry that's not maybe near the stove or the oven where it's not being exposed to heat is just fine for your olive oil.
Yeah, I agree with that. And especially if you're using it a lot. It is a fat, and that's just something to keep in mind. Fats go rancid. And so if you're not using it a lot, go ahead and just throw it in the fridge and you'll extend the life of that oil a lot longer. This was great. Information about olive oil. I'm actually thinking about lunch and how I could use olive oil now and what I want to do for dinner in olive oil.
I already have mine planned out. Yes, I'm going to have chicken and avocado with some olive oil drizzle.
Nice. Very, very, very nice. So listen, this was a great show. I'm so happy everyone could join us today. We have an article, right, Dr. Crystal? Where's that at?
Yes, it's recipes.
Heart Healthy. I'm reading her Heart Healthy olive oil recipes at lifeextension.com/olive oil.
Yes.
So that's a great, and I bet there's a bunch there, and they're going to be using lots of olive oil.
Yes, and guess what? Next week I may try out one of those recipes live. What do you think?
Yeah, I like that. We like food. Anyways, thank you for watching. Please like and share and comment. We love to hear from you. And don't forget, every Wednesday we go live at 3 p.m. So tell your friends. Keep joining us. We really enjoyed this time with everyone. So thanks for watching. I'm Dr. Mike. Bye-bye.